Hey guys, it's Reina from Simply Actions. I'm excited to show you my week 3 editing with Reina image, which is this beautiful image from Jessie Blake Photography. And I'm going to show you how I edited it in ACR and in Photoshop with Simply Artiste to get the final image. Excited to show you. Let's get us started. So we're in Bridge right now. I'm going to just open this up. So now this is a JPEG, so it plays a little bit different with the ACR presets. So I right click and then I can say open in Camera Raw, and that will allow me to use Camera Raw with my JPEGs. Then once you've done that, for some reason Adobe remembers that you open it in Camera Raw, so you'll just go ahead and go open with Photoshop CC and it'll take you to Camera Raw automatically. So you do it the first time and then you don't have to do it again. So I go over to my presets. I'm going to pick Magic 5. And now you'll see that with a JPEG, because it is a smaller size, the grain plays quite much stronger. So I'm going to bring that down to about like 10-ish, I would say. And there is a vignette here, a very small one, but I want to remove it. So I'm going to bring that to 0. And then I'm just going to do a quick adjustment there and darken it a little bit. Alright, so now I'm going to open this image in Photoshop. And I'm going to give it a start with Simply Artiste. I'm going to play skin tones first. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to warm the skin. So I'm going to bring my brush down to size. Because it is a black mask, that means that whatever this layer is supposed to be doing, the black mask means that it won't be doing it. It's still there, it's just turned off. So in order for me to turn it back on or paint it on, I need to have a white brush. So that's why when you're playing your actions, your other actions that you have with me, you'll see a white mask. That's because I want you to have the effect played on your image. So a white mask means that it's on and black means it's off. That's my little trick for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and warm up her skin some. Just take this. So I'm going to just take the opacity down just a bit though. I don't want it to be so strong. That's pretty good. All right, and then I'm going to brighten the skin just over here. Well, I can brighten the face a little bit, which I think I will. And I'm going to brighten this area here where there's a bit of a shadow and some redness on her leg. So I'm just going to lower that opacity. And then I can go ahead and right click and I can say duplicate group. Just going to hit OK. And then it's duplicated. So I'm going to actually take that, whatever I played on the other one, off of her face. So I just took a black brush, put it to 100% opacity and painted it off. And then I think I'm happy with the brightness here, but I do feel like there's still redness. I don't like that. So I'm actually going to pop into Simply Baby, which is my newborn collection, and play Bye-Bye Red and have that, make sure it's white, just at a 30% opacity. I'm going to make sure that we can try and take away from that a little bit and lower that opacity. I'm seeing a little bit of grayness, so I'm going to paint that part back. And then the thing is when you're painting off red, you might not realize, but there's also purple in red. So when you paint off red, instead of keep going until it's green, until you have gray skin, instead go ahead and play purple a little bit, and that'll help you tame it out a little bit. All right, so that's, the best I can do for her leg there. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to soften the skin. The way I do that is I do 100% opacity, and I also make sure that I have a white brush, and I go ahead and paint it on everything because I just prefer to paint off instead of painting on. So I'm just going to take this lower opacity, paint that back. Okay. Sorry, if I get quiet, it's because I'm thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and put myself at 100% opacity and paint off with a black brush the areas that I don't want to have soft. Now this is going to look insanely ridiculous at this point because I have this still up really high, so it's like ridiculously soft. But that's okay because I'm going to lower the opacity. I'm just going to switch back over to just to make it smooth. So I've done that. Now I want to just lower the opacity. I would probably bring it down to about here. That's where I'm comfortable. So now I'm going to go ahead and burn. The reason why I have the two layers separate is because when you burn, you can go ahead and burn as much as you want and then lower the opacity if you feel like you went too far. Same thing for the dodge layer. So now I'm going to need to pick the burn tool. And basically, my knowledge of this is very rudimentary, unfortunately. But basically, I just know paint where the shadows are, or that you want the shadows to stay. And then for the dodge, you're going to paint on the highlights. And basically, it just increases the contrast between the highlights and the darks. You don't need to just stick with the face. You can work with any part to increase that. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. That's a little too much. And I just go ahead and darken around the eyes, help out the eyeliner there. You don't want to do this too much on lighter eyes because then it can look a little Twilight. Be cognizant of that. And you can also paint it on the hair a little bit. Burn the hair. Not literally. All right. Let's back up and see how that, and you can see how that kind of just added a bit of drama to her. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my dodge tool. So don't forget that, you know, just because you're on the dodge layer doesn't mean that you've got your dodge tool selected. So make sure you do that. And then you just paint over the parts that you want highlighted. So for instance, I don't want her to have darker circles under her eyes, so I'll do what I can to kind of help that out a little bit. Sorry that I get so quiet. I'm just concentrating what I'm doing. But, you know, I've got some music for you and keep you from getting tired or bored. So I'm just going to quickly play that, the rest of the burn. Don't want to spend too much time on it. But I just wanted to show you kind of like the difference of what, you know, we can do. So basically, I'm going to just do one last thing here with the contrast. I'm going to play it at, oh no, that's too, sorry. I'm going to play that at 30% opacity. I'm just going to add a little bit of contrast into that bodice there. On her jewelry as well. Maybe a little bit on her tattoos, but I don't want to make them so dark that they're unrecognizable. I do want them to pop from the arm just a little bit more. And then I'm just going to lower that opacity. Alright, so now let's check it out. That's just the skin tone work. Awesome. All right, so moving on, I'm going to go quickly through the rest of Artiste. I'm going to play the blues. And I'm just going to go to blue skies, make sure that I have my white brush, 30% opacity, and I'm just going to paint a little bit of blue skies. That was a little bit too large. There we go. All right, lower that opacity down. I'm going to play purples. I'm going to paint on purple sky right there. Probably just that much there. I'm going to lower that right down to about 14% though. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and move right on to the light leaks. My favorite light leaks to use, especially in a situation like this, would be sunlight leaks. Make sure that you've got yourself at a 30% opacity because as you can see, it plays on really strong, but beautifully. So, oops, don't get it on the skin, just on the backdrop. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to lower this opacity down, add a little bit more here. I don't want to have a halo, so I'm going to get closer with a smaller brush there. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to lower that a little bit. Okay, so then that's light leaks. I'm going to go ahead and start playing with matte haze blur. It's another one of my favorite actions to use. I use it in a lot of my artiste work. I'm going to add a little bit of haze over here, maybe a little bit onto her, maybe not, I don't like that. It's just on the backdrop and a little bit over here. All right, I'm going to take intense haze a little down a bit though. I don't want it to be too crazy. All right, I'm going to go to light matte. I'm going to take my brush opacity down to 20% and play that off the entire image. I just like how that kind of unifies it. Medium matte, I'm going to bring that back up to 30%, play it just on the background. Okay, and then next I'm going to go to the dark matte, play that also on the background. It's really kind of helping to bring kind of your eye back to the girl in the middle there. Okay, and the last, or second last thing I want to work on is the sunspots. Now sunspots, I've got a whole bunch of locations that you can be using. There's small ones and large ones. I'm going to use the large left one. I just had to check my left and right. I don't know them very well. All right, so we're bringing that sunspot in, and you can see it kind of adds just a little bit of a sunny haze going in there. And the last step is vignettes. Bring that over here. All right, so first I'm going to go with the ruby edges. Keep my opacity of my brush down at 30%. Just going to add a little bit of red into the edges here. I'm going to take that down though. I don't want it to be too red, but I like the addition. The extra little bit of warmth that it adds to your vignette. Then I'm going to go to my matte edges because I love me some matte. So I'm going to just add a little bit more on the background and on the edges. Kind of a matte finish to it. And then finally just some black edges, just because, you know, I feel like adding everything I can into this. All right, so that's it. That was how it's done. That's the whole Artiste look. I did add a little bit of baby in there to fix her thigh a little bit, but let's see what the before looks like. And this was after ACR was already in. So this is just the ACR edit. And then Artiste can just really bring it to, like, I mean, that's the thing. You can have a beautiful ACR edit and honestly, like, fix this leg up and you're good to go. You've got a great image that you can give to your client, maybe clean up and soften the skin or whatever, but you're pretty much good. But look at what you can do to an image with Artiste. You can make it into a piece of art. So that's why I love Artiste. It helps you to hand edit your images, and it also lets you play artist for a day. And so it's fun. So thanks so much for sticking around and watching my edit, and stay tuned for next week. I'll have another video up, even though I'll be in Calgary, so it's going to be interesting because I'll be doing my editing with Reina video from a laptop, so that's going to be an interesting situation. Stay tuned for to see how that works out. Also, feel free to join us in our Facebook VIP group if you want an invite to it. Just send either me or Liberty an email. I'm at simplyactions@gmail.com, and Liberty's at liberty@silkypresets.com. And like this video, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, and enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.